to multiply the ones in the example. So page 378 to start with. Right. So let's do x minus 5 divided by x plus 3 multiplied by 3x plus 9 divided by x plus 5. So how do we multiply fractions?
Top and bottom.
Top and bottom. Okay. So we can first off do x minus 5 multiplied by 3x plus 9, all divided by x plus 3 and x plus 5. All right. So what should we do first before we do anything else?
Expand.
X cannot equal 3.
-3 and -5.
X cannot equal -5 and -3. Sorry. Why is that? Yeah, so these two would make 0. So we should do that before we do anything else. All right, so what we can do now is we could expand, all right, or not. What do you reckon?
I would say yes, because what else can you do for... Oh! Sneaky.
What?
You multiply the top and bottom by 3, you are able to then cancel out the 3x plus 9 and the x plus 3.
We could. Should we try it?
Mm-hmm.
So we've got 3 lots of x minus 5 and 3x plus 9 over, should we do that?
Yeah, do that.
3x plus 9 and x plus 5. So we could cancel that, which is then 3 lots of x minus 5 over x plus 5.
Nobody did.
No, they didn't bother. Don't think? No?
Are we doing... I don't know which one we're doing.
So we're on page 378, 2a.
Oh,
So it says use your preferred methods. So it's an exploration. Okay. So there's no answers there. So is that what we think we should do?
Yeah.
Happy with that? Right.
Did you then expand the top one, or would that just not be?
Well, the whole reason for doing anything is to be able to simplify as much as we can, to put it in a simpler form. All right. And do we think that we've got a simpler form there?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. So just to say, at this point, good, you remembered that we should always multiply by 1. All right. So we can put it in a way that has enabled me. That is simpler than that. Would we agree?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's have a look at then example 4. This is an example. So we've got x squared minus 9 divided by x squared minus 8x plus 16 divided by x squared plus 6x plus 9, all divided by x squared minus 7x plus 12. All right? So that's example 4, near the bottom of the page. All right?
Difference of squares on the top one.
Well, what do we need to do first? Yeah, so if you divide by a fraction, you can actually do multiply by the reciprocal. Okay, so how long before the bottle goes? So we're going to do multiplied by x squared. Oh, sorry. X squared minus 7x plus 12 divided by... Okay, so now I can cancel out tops and bottoms. All right, So to do that, though, I need to put it in what form first? Factorised form. So can we factorise? I think you've already decided that's the difference of two squares. So this first one can be... Okay. Under here we've got...
X minus 4, X minus 4.
So we've got two things important there. What is this one called? Difference of two squares. Yes, that's the difference of two squares. Do you know what this one's called? Good, that's a perfect square.
Wait,
Right.
which one's a perfect square?
This one, because we've got a square number on the end, and this one is the square number divided by 2. Yeah, so it's a perfect square. All right. Say it again, sorry. Can be written as x minus 4 squared. Exactly, right? I'm not going to do it at the moment because we leave it in expanded form. So can we factorise this one at the top?
No, but you can say that x
What do you
cannot
mean?
be 4. You can say that x cannot be
Okay, so, well, can we factorise this one, yeah?
Yes.
4. Well, yes, you can factorize that out.
Go on, so what is it? X minus 4. And then we've got x. So there's another perfect square there, isn't it? Okay. All right. So, are there any values we can't have?
Yes.
What?
Negative 3 and 4.
All right. Just negative 3?
Negative 3.
And x can't equal to 4, you say. Y and positive 3. And don't say because I've just read it in the answers.
Because there's a positive 3 in the first. No? How can it be positive?
Or if you plug in 3.
When we look at our
'Cause
restrictions,
3
Thibaut,
minus
what do we
3
have to
will
look
be
to?
0.
Say again? Yeah, but where do I have to start looking at the denominators?
Is it because 3 minus 3 will be
The very beginning.
Oh, is that
Yeah?
because 3 minus 3 squared will be 9 minus
Yeah. So I have to go all the way back. Come on, computer. Come on. Give me what I want. Ugh. It's like you guys on a Friday. Not a lot happening very quickly. So back to the beginning. All right, that does say beginning. Go back to the beginning. So this doesn't really help me, but I can go back to here. Now, this would be the other way up, wouldn't it, at the beginning? So x can't be positive 4 because of this. All right. X can't be negative 3, but also at the beginning, we had this, didn't we, as the denominator. So x can't be positive 3 either. All right. Because up here it was the denominator. All right. Make sense? So that's where the plus and minus. But what about, so it's 4, it's not a negative 4 as well? Because same way around, right? But what about this 4 here? That would have been, but that's just positive 4. It's not, there's no negative 4 to consider. All right. So we've got our restrictions sorted before I do anything else. So now can I cancel? So I've got an x plus 3 will cancel with,
X plus 3.
can I do an x minus 3 with an x minus 3?
Nope.
Why not?
Because they're not doing their. Oh my.
Because when I cancel, I'm not cancelling, I'm picking out the factors that would divide and make
1.
1. And That's not a divide to make 1, that's a multiply to make x
You
minus
do
3.
X minus 4.
We can, as you said, do x and x minus 4. Okay, so then we end up with x minus 3 squared over x minus 4 and x plus 3. Yeah?
I feel like you can go. You can go further if you multiply by -1 over -1. Because then you can choose.
Changes both, doesn't it?
Yeah, but
What are you spotting, T-Bow? What? Why have we made an error? Why? Look at their previous line as well. Do you think it's our mistake or their mistake? You'll see what T-Bow spotted.
Their mistake.
So what T-Bow spotted, look, if you look at the answer that we've got an x minus 3, and their answer says x plus 3. But if you look at their previous line, is that the same as our previous line?
Yeah.
Yeah? All right. So the x plus 3 with the x minus 4 cancels. So we are left, they have what we have here. So unless we made a mistake going from this point to this point, the mistake must be theirs, right? Yes.
I'm convinced you can go further.
Yeah, it's them.
I think it's their mistake. Yeah?
Yeah. 'Cause they-
Is
they-
x minus 3 squared the same as x plus 3 squared?
but I think-
No, because I thought I'd ask that because you think, oh yeah, because squaring gets rid of the negative, and but it doesn't though, does it? Because x minus 3 squared is x squared plus 9. Yeah? With minus 6x in the middle, whereas x plus 3 would be a plus 6x. So they're actually different. Okay. So that I think there is a mistake there. All right. Can you see, are we happy then that we had to start with the initial one to get those restrictions? These restrictions apply here, but would you be able to get all of those restrictions from this final answer? Because if I look at this, what are my restrictions?
Yeah,
Just plus 4 and
Negative 3.
-3. So look, I miss out on the positive 3 if I wait until this point. Yeah. Because don't forget, a 0 numerator is perfectly okay.
but
A 0 denominator is not allowed. That's the problem. Yeah. A 0 numerator is fine. You get the answer of
1. Nothing.
0. Yeah. 0 divided by anything is 0, unless it's 0 divided by 0.
Which is 1.
But if you can't divide by 0, then how can you get 1?
Yeah, but if x over
That's
x.
awesome then. I can get no money and divide it with no one and end up with $1. Brilliant.
But no, it
Like
works,
that.
It works differently with currencies.
Does it? I can have one cake and no cake and divide it with no one and get a cake. Why can't we feed the world?
You get.
I can take nothing
You get one lot
somewhere
of
where everyone's starving and go, right, none of you are having it, and suddenly we get a cake appear. Awesome. Weird that one, isn't it? I know, I get what you're saying.
Well, I think we can go further on this.
You think we can go further?
I know we can go further.
Okay, I tell you what, I'm going to let everyone else get on with practice 3 then. You have a look and see whether you can go further with it. Get an answer, justify it to yourself, make sure it's right, and then we'll discuss it with you.
Okay.
Tell you why you're wrong.